Priyayate Durlabh Krishna Bhakti Ati Saralkarini. So Hare Krishna. Today we will continue Bhagavad Gita, and today we are reading from 3.41. Yesterday, these few shlokas that we have been reading, they have been tied to Arjuna asking the question that why do we commit sin? That why do living beings commit sins? It's almost like they are being forced internally by some force of nature, or they are actually unwillingly. It's like they don't want to do it, but it just happens. They're committing so many sins. So Krishna is giving the response to that question in the series that originally it is beautifully described that we all have love for Krishna. But when we come in touch with this material world, all of that love that we have for Krishna turns into lust, which causes us to do all of these sins because that cannot be controlled. Not that cannot be controlled, cannot be satisfied. No amount of whatever you do can satisfy that lust. You always want more and more. So over here today, Krishna is saying, therefore, O Arjuna, best of the Bharatas, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. So this lust not only makes us commit sins, but it destroys knowledge, right? That means we cannot move forward in life, materially, spiritually, anything, because it is knowledge which helps us grow. And more than that, right, it is said that the destroyer of knowledge and self-realization, the knowledge of the self, that who are we, and that super soul, Krishna, the supreme soul, Krishna, is very confidential, and it is the most confidential knowledge, right? It is also certain mysterious, just like how my son was asking that, how did Krishna then come into being? Well, he never came into being. He was always there. He is and will be there, right? But our material minds don't understand this. So this knowledge about who am I, who is the supreme personality, what is the goal of our life, right? All of this can be understood if they're explained with the various aspects by the Lord Himself. And that's what Krishna is doing in the Bhagavad Gita. So, here Krishna is saying that we need to curb this great symbol of sin. We need to limit it. And what happened is there's a theory, and actually there is a technique for this. But sometimes when you have the urge to do something, right? It's the urge actually and if you don't do it, it just starts growing, and then it peaks. And then you have that peak for like 5-7 minutes where you want to do something or you want to commit this in or you keep thinking. But then if you do not surrender into that, right? If you do not surrender to that urge of performing a sin or anything, then it starts coming down. And slowly, if you start curbing this, what happens? That the whole surge, the curve, it starts coming down. It gets lower and lower. And you do not have that surge for a very long time, that peak. right? It just comes and goes like a thought in your mind. So whether it's greed, whether it's anger, whether it's lust, whether it's wanting to commit a sin or cheat someone, take some money or steal money, whatever it is, a lot of times we do certain activities and then later we regret, we repent. There's a beautiful pastime that happened with Srila Vasudeva, with Sadhu Vaswani, right? The other TL Vaswani. One night he was sleeping, he was relaxing, and then all of a sudden he was woken up by devotee, that by his sevadaris, that someone wants to meet you right now and they are waiting at the door. And we told them that we cannot bother you, but they were very insistent. So they let that devotee come meet Sadhu Vaswani. And what he did was he offered a bag of money or a check, right? He had some donation amount that he wanted to give to Dada Vaswani. And Dada Vaswani asked him that you have come here in the middle of the night to give me this. You could have given me this tomorrow morning also. What was so urgent about this? And that devotee replied that my thought or my will to perform this act or this, that my thought would have actually could have changed by the morning, and I did not want to take that risk. So that's why I'm sorry to disturb you, but I wanted to make sure that I did this good act, this kind act, while I was still very positive about it. Because if tomorrow I wake up and not in a good mood or something changes, and if I don't do it, then I would have regretted not doing this in the night. So, in the same way, whether we have some greed, whether we have some anger, jealousy, that is just for a few moments. And even anger, right? All of that comes from lust. Even anger, greed, lust, all of these. Whenever you have the urge to do something and you know that it's wrong, just wait, give it a few more minutes. Your urge from inside will start to go down because we are Kali Yuga jivas. A lot of times we cannot control the urges that we have. And these days, we want everything right now. If I think of something, oh, Amazon, get it. How soon can you get it to me? They can get it to you now by like overnight delivery, like by 5 a.m. in the morning, they come at your door and deliver and go. That is in the US. In India, they get you anything you want in 10 minutes. That is the kind of society we are. We need immediate gratification. But in bhakti, in devotion of the Lord, right, we get that immediate gratification every time we chant Krishna's name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Just knowing that we have an owner, that we have someone who is looking out for us, right? Everything that happens in our life, it's with Krishna's blessing. So whatever doesn't even happen happens for our best. Sometimes we plan for something, it does not happen, then something else happens. That means Krishna's will is working over there, and that what Krishna is doing for us, his will is greater than what we had thought about ourselves. Because remember, if somebody stands at the top of a 20, 30, 40 floor building, what they can see is very different than someone standing on the ground floor. So when Krishna is saying over here that from the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin, we should try and do it. But the problem is that we don't know these techniques until we learn it. We listen to our sadhus, to our acharyas, to our Guru Maharaj. Then we start learning that knowledge. In fact, in the Guru Puja, we sing Divya Gyan Hriday Prakasito, that the divine knowledge to one who has surrendered and walks on the path that his or her spiritual master has shown them, that the divine knowledge of all of the Shastras, all of the Vedas, right, manifest from within. They just appear within you. So it is not just any knowledge, and it is not just blind faith over here. All of this is scientific. In fact, Srila Prabhupada's most of the books you will read, they are all the science of self-realization, the science, right? Easy journey to other planets. There's a science behind it. It's not just you blindly do something and it shows up. Just like how these days, a lot of the Gen Z, everyone is saying that, oh, I manifested this, I manifested that. I am on a whole different vibration. There's a science behind that too. So how can you say there's no science behind spirituality? When it comes to spirituality, everybody wants to just call it blind faith. Sometimes we do certain religious activities because we have seen people do them or we don't know the reason behind them, right? But doing religious activities like arti, puja, agarbatti, anything like that is a religious activity versus the spiritual activity is totally different. Being religious and being spiritual are two different things. One can be religious but still not work on curbing all of this anger, greed, lust, and everything. But a spiritual person, because Krishna is saying, because our spiritual master is saying, works on reducing all of that because they understand who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who I am, right? And what is mine? What is the goal of this valuable human life for me? So with that, we will end here and then we'll continue next week. And before we end, we'll chant together Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Bihari Lal Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे. Hare Krishna.